with psoriasis, I've realized that can be very, very difficult to figure out what to do. And not only can it be difficult how to figure out what to do, it can be difficult how to figure out what you should do. Meaning, everybody, a good portion of the people I talk to that come into our clinic and I'm working with one-on-one, they know no gluten, they know no sugar, they know reducing these things are beneficial, they know some of these stuff, but they can't figure out how to get it together in their own program, right? And so today's video, I'm gonna teach you, or tell you actually, exactly what I did in terms of what I ate, okay? I got this broken up into other videos. I got a how I changed my lifestyle video on this process you can go watch. I got a how to exercise and all that. And then I have a how to, what supplements I did in this process as well. Not saying this is what everybody should do. I work with a lot of individuals that this isn't what I tell them exactly to do, but this is the core of what it all comes back to. And I talk about that throughout this video and those videos as well. So make sure you watch them all. But this one right here is gonna tell you exactly what I ate, how I cook it, and what I did in that process of getting rid of my own personal psoriasis. Many of you know I had psoriasis for many years, from age 4 to age 34. I finally was able to get rid of it at age 34 based on not just one thing, but multiple different things that I added up to my body getting back into a healing state and calming the immune response, okay? Today's video though, you're gonna get a lot out of this and you're gonna learn what diet, what eating plan, or what did I do in terms of an eating plan. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and make sure that you hit the notification button so you can get all the other awesome videos that we're putting out. So here's the foods I ate. It was very simple. You're gonna be unexcited about it. It's what they call anticlimactic. So number one, the vegetables that I stuck with and ate the most of. Now, every so often I'd have something different, but this was my core. Number one, broccoli. Broccoli is a big bang for your buck vegetable. It's not crazy expensive. It has high amounts of DIM, which is a methyl product that helps break down and detoxify toxins in the body. It's high in nutrient value, lots of nutrients in the cruciferous vegetables. It also has the amino acids that your body needs to produce glutathione, which glutathione is how your body detoxifies, is one of the ways your body detoxifies. It's a very strong antioxidant that our body creates. It's become a very popular supplement, but your body creates it or should create it on its own, and cruciferous vegetables are one of the best ways to get that. I chose broccoli. The other one I chose was Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. I think they taste great. I think that they're good. Same with broccoli. Same reasons that I chose Brussels sprouts, or broccoli, I chose Brussels sprouts. I would every so often have some broccoli sprouts or other different sprouted type things. But to cook those, I didn't do a lot of heavy cooking. I didn't use the oven because I tend to overcook them in the oven. I typically would steam these vegetables, and the cool part about steaming it is if you steam it at just a small enough amount to where it becomes soft, but not brown, right? So a small amount, but the vegetable is bright green, especially with broccoli and Brussels sprouts. It actually increases the nutrient value in terms of what you're gonna get, meaning your bioavailability for your body to use those nutrients is much better than when you eat them raw or when you overcook them, okay? So your best way to cook your vegetable is steam them to that high bright color that they are, and you're gonna get the most nutrient value, and they're gonna be easiest to digest. Cool? So we got broccoli, we got Brussels sprouts. The other vegetable root that I ate was sweet potatoes. Now, I know that they have sugar, so why would I eat something with sugar? Guys, everything has sugar at some level, but I know that, yeah, it can cause a little bit higher insulin than, say, Brussels sprouts or broccoli, but there's plenty of nutrient value in that. My body did really well with it. It gave me that ability to eat really clean and healthy and still felt like I had a treat and I had a carb. Because I grew up, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up on steak and potatoes, or meat and potatoes, meat and rice, meat and some sort of, I say I grew up with meat and potatoes. I actually didn't like potatoes at all, so that's not true. But it was the concept of it. It was meat and pasta, or meat and rice, or meat and some sort of a bread. I had to have the carbs, right? That was a part of every meal. Remember, we followed the food pyramid. And so my mind still thought that way, and I still wanted those things. So sweet potatoes is a great way to do that. Now, I will say, I did have a patient recently who was following the gut healing diet, and this is all these foods are on that, was following the gut healing diet, and he was eating sweet potatoes two or three times a day, as pretty much that was like his core, part of everything. And he ended up getting kidney stones because they're so high in oxalates, and his body was not doing a very good job processing. And they're not crazy high in oxalates, but the problem is if you're eating them like that. And so any of these things I'm telling you to eat, I'm not saying that's all you eat, but this is what my staples was broccoli, Brussels sprouts, Sweet potatoes. The meats I ate were beef, grass-fed, free-range organic meats. Okay, all the vegetables were organic and local, by the way. But grass-fed organic meats is what I stuck with. I did a lot of beef, a lot of ground beef, just simply it's more affordable. But I also did a lot of steaks. Okay, I also have deer meat in my freezer year round, so I ate a lot of venison as well, which is very good for you. And then every so often I would have some fish, and every so often I'd have some chicken. But I really stuck with red meat more than anything. And I'll tell you, my blood work was really, really healthy and really clean after doing something like that. So I know a lot of you think that eating red meat's bad for you because I guess the American Heart Association decided it was, even though they've been wrong about everything so far, and have keep coming back on things. But no, red meat is actually a staple, a good high quality nutrients in red meat. You get great amino acids, or great fatty acids in there. Your omega-3, omega-6 ratio is about a 4-to-1 of omega-6 to omega-3 ratios in a grass-fed free-range cow. And you're gonna get great results with eating good, healthy meat, okay? The next thing on there that I ate was duck eggs. I switched out chicken eggs. A lot of you have heard me talk about doing food allergy testing. Well, in this process, the only test I did was in the starting point was a food allergy test, okay? And that's how I helped create what I was gonna eat. So I did a food allergy, an IgG food allergy test. Some of the main things that were on my IgG food allergy test was chicken eggs. That was a big one, and I was eating those every day. I'd eaten those most every day of my life. What else? Black pepper. My main way of seasoning things was sea salt, onion powder, paprika, and black pepper. Every so often I'd add some garlic in there. But black pepper was a part of everything I cooked. And because I'd been eating healthy for so long, not specifically like this, but eating cleaner for so long, I cooked everything. I didn't eat out much. And I guess that's one thing I would say in this eating plan is eating out wasn't a staple. Eating out was a once a month maybe kind of thing. And even when I ate out, it was still, hey, what foods are on my food allergy list and what foods are gonna be cleaner and healthier for me to eat. I would try to find a farm to table restaurant or something like that, or I go get something like a sushi or something like that with less of the fried foods that they have at those restaurants. And so eating out is gonna be tough if you wanna eat healthy and get rid of psoriasis. Okay, but so in that food allergy test, I had eggs, I had black pepper, I had lettuce, I had, what else did I have in there? Kale. I had some really weird ones that you would think are actually healthy. Chia seeds, tomatoes, all those things were in there. So I took those foods out and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna go with the biggest bang for my buck foods, and this is the things I'm gonna eat. Now, the other area I was able to make this kind of work for me and not have to have tons of foods to eat is I didn't eat all day long. I woke up, I had duck eggs. Sometimes I had intermittent fast, but if I was eating breakfast, I would have duck eggs for breakfast. That's it, over easy, duck eggs with some sea salt on it. At lunch, I'd have a piece of meat and some broccoli. At dinner, I'd have a piece of meat, some sweet potatoes, and maybe some Brussels sprouts. Like I said, there were some other things like cauliflower and some other things we'd add in there, but the core ones that I really ate were these things like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cruciferous types of vegetables. And so the reason I did this process is because I knew that this would create the least amount of stress on my body, number one, and number two, it would have the biggest bang for my buck. And what I mean by that is if I'm gonna spend money on something, I want it to be something that's gonna help me in this process. Okay, so we got, so ultimately that's what I ate. Now, sometimes I intermittent fast, sometimes I do a 24-hour fast on Sundays. I'd use a lot of that in the process, but actually what went into my body, that was that there. The other thing I guess you could add to that would be what I drank, which was I would have some sort of organic coffee once a day, sometimes twice a day, but mostly once a day. And I wouldn't put anything in it, just dark coffee that was that was created properly. So the coffee I drank was always organic, and it made sure, because here's the thing, coffee is one of the highest pesticide crops, so it can be very toxic for your body. You always got to go organic on coffee and clean. Here's some additions. I'm sorry, you can see me, I'm looking down at my phone a lot, and I did that because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything for you guys. It's all up in here, but at the same time, if I don't have it written down, I miss it. So in terms of the other random foods that I would add in, I put down here additions to that eating plan. Carrots, those were kind of like if I just wanted something to snack in between meals, I would have carrots. Celery, those are the only two raw things I would do. I'm not a big fan of cooking carrots because it just kind of increased that glucose amount coming in. But carrots, celery, goat cheese was a good one, a big one I had. Sauerkraut was something I would typically have at the end of a meal, 1 or 2 meals a day. And then organ meats, I would actually cook organ meats. Okay, so I'd have like kidneys or liver, things like that from healthy raised animals. The things I drank was water. That's the main thing I drank. Sometimes I would have a carbonated water, but for the most part, it was just water, and it was filtered by reverse osmosis, and I would add sea salt back in, a pinch of sea salt back in, or electrolyte drops that I'll use sometimes back into it to add the minerals. I would do apple cider vinegar once a day with water. So it'd be, I didn't really measure, but I would say about, maybe 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in water. And I would have maybe 2 ounces of water in that. And I would just drink that. Something I could drink quickly once a day for my stomach acid and just overall benefits. And then I would do aloe vera juice once a day. Okay, so those are the core things that are the other kind of additional things that I did along with that eating plan. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful in the eating plan part of things.